The Sports Source Saturday Kickoff is presented by Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville on Callahan Drive and by the Garza Law Firm.
It's Checker, New England. It's a night game. The energy's crowd going to be there.
They had 7 pre-snap penalties. A number of those were for false starts. So that has you behind the chain.
They beat Tennessee with coaches on the hot seat, coaches that got fired after that season, backup quarterbacks, touchdown passes at the end of the game.
That's noteworthy because he was actually at Georgia again last weekend to see the Bulldogs play host to Auburn. Tennessee having to play defense on some of its current commitments.
Don't think it was about emotions or overlooking Arkansas or a trap game. I think not very good on the offensive line. I don't think you have playmakers at wide receiver, especially with the injuries. And I think Nico's not as developed as we thought he was.
And if you hold an SEC opponent to 19 points,
yes,
you should win the football game.
Good Saturday morning and welcome into Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive for the Saturday Kickoff, the Sports Source Saturday Kickoff. I'm John Pennington, joined by Ollie Lane, Kevin Simon, a pair of VFLs right here. It was a much happier time last week. It's been a low week on Rocky Top. We'll try and pump you back up, tell you what's going on. We got a big show for you today, right here at Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. Folks, I bought 5 straight vehicles down here. I believe in this place. It's a tremendous place to buy a car. I've had 4 Sorrentos. I've had a Telluride. I've got friends who've driven the Optimas. I've got people who've driven the EV6s. I've never heard a bad word about any of their vehicles. Kias, good cars, and boy, if you want a Kia, they will match any deal on a new Kia from anywhere in the country. So if you buy one somewhere else, you're wasting money. Rusty Wallace Kia, Callahan Drive. All right, this segment, we do it every week. It's called What's the Story? And to me, there's multiple storylines this week, and I'm just checking social media. I'm just checking the message board. A lot of storylines on there. So what I want to do is I'm going to throw some of these out here. We'll see if we can get to 3 or 4 of these. I'll let you guys tell me true, false, nonsense, maybe some truth. Well, you tell me. First one. Well, this one was all over my Twitter feed last week and certainly got the emails on it. Nico Iamaleava is a complete bust.
Yeah, no, I think that's complete and total nonsense. I mean, if you look at it, Nico's still a young quarterback. He's learning. He's progressing. Did I want him to run out of bounds on the last play? No. Did nobody want him to? No. But that's something he's learning, and he's going to progress forward. The ceiling for Nico is still there. Where everybody projected him to be is still there. It's just he's still learning and figuring it out for himself. So the support needs to still be there for him.
I think the talent's there, Kevin. I mean, you're a former NFL scout. Guy's got the arm. Guy's got the legs. It's now just a matter of making sure you get this right and you put some things around him.
Yeah, fake news. He's unbelievably talented. I think to me when I watch him, it almost seems like he has to take the shackles off. Like all the, hey, we don't want you to get hurt against Kent State. Don't take any hits against UT Chattanooga. Here's the thing. If he doesn't take any hits or doesn't take any risk in these big games, we're not going to the playoffs. Yeah. If he gets hurt, we're not going to the playoffs. Well, let's just take the risk.
Go.
All right? Yeah, just go. Because his legs as a part of the offense is going to be important for us to move the football down the field. Yeah. But I think just getting him, because he just seemed like he's in between. Like, all right, do I go? Want him play free, play like you know how to play. We got to get him back to that.
And the fact that you haven't been as able to do the tempo the last couple of weeks on the road, which allows the defense to kind of give you different looks, mix up his reads. Pre-snap reads are all over the place right now. It seems like if he were a veteran, it wouldn't be a problem. A guy making a second road start, and now he's trying to figure out what he's looking at. The fact that they're not in tempo, I think, has hurt him as well. Yeah. All right, here's another one. Losing Alex Golish was a huge blow to this program. You were over there. Talk to me about the difference between Golish and Halsley.
I would say to a point there's some truth to that. Obviously, they missed the experience and the knowledge that Golish had when it came to calling plays in this offense. He knew it, front hand, back hand, everything that he needed to call effective plays. And I think it took the stress off of Heupel then to know that someone back there is experienced and knows what I want to go to as well. I think with Halsley coming in, he's going to get to that point. It's just giving him more and more opportunities in that role of being this true play caller, calling the schemes and everything. I think the responsibilities of Heupel stepping up to call more of the plays after Golish left has happened. And I think it's slowly getting more and more ingrained for Halsley to be the head play caller, but obviously just getting that experience that Golish had, you could see the drop-off in the offensive production.
Kevin, you see a difference?
Yeah. So to me, it's an analogy. So my grandmother had an unbelievable brownies mix. And you know what? Hey, when I was 8 years old, I used to help her stir, mix it, right? But at the end of the day, it was her brownie mix, right? I try to make those brownies now, and it doesn't come out quite the same. So I think, when it comes to Heupel, you can say what you want. Heupel's been calling the plays, right? I mean, he's the one. It's grandmama sauce. Heupel's the straw that stirs the drink. I think without Golish, But at the end of the day, Heupel's calling the plays. So, I don't see
a huge difference.
I don't see a huge difference.
Okay. Next. When Dylan Sampson admitted the team was kind of complacent last week after the game, that just proved that Heupel is too much of the good cop. There is no bad cop. He's too buddy-buddy with the players. True, false, nonsense?
I'm gonna go ahead and just call that one nonsense. I think the discipline's over there. Obviously, it's not coming in the form of what people think true discipline is, like yelling at them, reprimanding them and stuff. They hold themselves to an accountable level, and it's trickled down into the team where players are holding players accountable. And I think if you look at the grand scheme of college football, when's the last time you've seen a police report on a Tennessee football player? Yeah. When's the last time you've seen them get in trouble? They are disciplined, and they understand that their position and their spot where they're at as a Tennessee football player means a lot to the community. And so, they do have that discipline and that accountability level over there.
Yeah, to me, fake news. I think that, listen, we just got beat. We got out-coached. Coach Heupel said as much. Got to do a better job. But when you look at the plan that Travis, they installed that defense within 4 days based off what they saw from Oklahoma and doing some research on some others, the Missouris of the world, the South Carolinas, the Georgias. Here's the gumbo that they came up with. But but in terms of accountability or lack of discipline, that's not it at all. Being in the program, they feel like they're letting him down, and leading from influence is more effective than leading with power.
Well, and I thought you saw it after the Oklahoma game. We actually showed it on the show, the post game, where they're giving him the game ball. He's kind of emotional. Clearly, they love the guy. But I wanted to get all those out there because, when you're winning, nobody wants to hear anything bad. When you're losing, there's no good to talk about. It's all negative. So I wanted to put some of those before you and see what your take was. If you're wondering, why didn't they bring up the offensive line? Oh, trust me, it's coming. We'll also tell you the 3-3-5 defense that they keep throwing at Tennessee. Why is that difficult? How does Tennessee actually show that they can handle that defense? We'll get to all that. Right now, let's go ahead and get a scouting report from Jimmy Hines. Jimmy, take it away.
Thanks, John. There are three things to know about Florida. First off, they complete passes at a high rate. They rank second in the SEC with a team completion of 72%. Graham Mertz has completed 77% of his passes. DJ Langway has completed 69% of his passes, including 11 of 11 in his last 2 games. And at Florida, in their last 2 games against Central Florida, they were 23 of 28, and then against Mississippi State, 26 of 28 for a school record 92.9%. Here's the other thing. While Tennessee's pass game has struggled, they don't want to pick on the lockdown corner, Jason Marshall. Marshall's got 39 starts, and in those 39 starts, 11 times the opponent has not completed a pass against him. He's also benefiting from the fact that in the last 2 games, Florida has recorded 8 sacks. Here's the other thing. In the last 2 decades, Florida has absolutely owned Tennessee. Florida's won 17 out of 19. They beat Tennessee with coaches on the hot seat, coaches that got fired after that season, backup quarterbacks, touchdown passes at the end of the game. You name it, they can beat them. And here's the other note. 4 quarterbacks at Florida that beat Tennessee couldn't even hold their job, and they end up transferring out of the program after that season. So, Florida comes into this game unranked. They got a coach on the hot seat. Is that a problem for Tennessee? I guess we'll find out Saturday night. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hey, we've got 15 people on today's show, and they're going to be bringing you a ton of information. Matter of fact, let's let some of them tell you. Here's a taste of what's coming on today's Saturday Kickoff.
I'm David Ubben, and I'll tell you how Tennessee's loss impacted their path to the playoff.
I'm Paige Dower, and we'll give you 3 reasons why you shouldn't panic about the Vols. at least not yet.
I'm Josh Ward, and we'll get you ready for tonight's game with some surprising prop bets.
And I'm Ryan Callahan, and I'll tell you about 3 recruits who will be on campus for tonight's game.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville. The Vols are off to a hot start, so we're rolling out the hottest deals of the year. You could score a 2025 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, or you could drive home a 2024 Kia Sorento for $267 a month. Are you looking to go bigger? You could ride high in style in a 2024 Kia Telluride for $379 a month. And as always, every new Kia comes with Rusty's exclusive 200,000-mile warranty. So draw up the winning play and make your way to Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
For 4 generations, A.G. Hines Company has been a pillar of the Knoxville community. And since Albert Hines Sr. opened our doors back in 1920, we've been supplying do-it-yourselfers with revolutionary products and tools. Manufactured stone is lighter, more cost-effective than traditional stone, featuring greater consistency of material and quicker installation times. Cutting-edge materials and tools at affordable prices. That's what we've provided for more than a century at A.G. Hines Company.
I was coming home and a lady hit me head-on. It totaled my car, it fractured my right heel, and it bruised me up really badly. The Garza Law Firm, they were very compassionate, but yet they were very detailed. They didn't let me down. They never stopped fighting. It helped me regain confidence in law firms. I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
A day on the lake is more than just time on the water. It's a memory, a story that can last a lifetime. And no one makes memories like Madisonville Marine. Terrific prices, first-class customer service, and the area's biggest selection of boats, like G3 John boats, Gator Tough. These rugged boats are durable and dependable, season after season. Center or side console, storage boxes. Custom design your boat for your needs. Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he became an agent to make sure someone is fighting for you. Shop insurance now. See how Chris can give you peace of mind and save you some money. All insurance is not equal. Trust Chris Smith Insurance.
Every Sunday morning, The Sports Source brings you 90 minutes of honest, intelligent Vols coverage. More analysts, more topics, more fun. The Sports Source, Sundays at 11 on WATE TV6 and WATE.com.
The college football season keeps marching along into week 7, and we are in the thick of SEC play. Here's what you can catch today on Channel 6. Alabama hosts South Carolina at noon. Both these teams are coming off of losses, but Alabama falling to Vandy was definitely the most shocking. Then it's the first SEC Red River rivalry at 3:30 p.m. Oklahoma and Texas meet at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The nightcap, though, sends us to Baton Rouge. It is a top 15 matchup between Ole Miss and LSU. And of course, the Vols play at 7 p.m. Tennessee hosts Florida. Remember to tune in to our SEC wrap-up show tonight after the Ole Miss and LSU game on Channel 6. We'll recap the Vols contest, plus catch you up on all things SEC. John.
Thanks, Reese. Welcome back into Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. Hey, if you're going to the game tonight and you're doing the tailgate thing, or if you got people coming over to watch the game at your house, head to your local package store and pick up a 4-pack, 8-pack, or multi-packs of Freshie. It's organic tequila mixed with seltzer. It comes in 3 great flavors. It's getting great reviews online. Check it out for yourself. Freshie. Now, we're going to go over to Bandit Bar where they keep Freshie. They also have Paige Dower, Vince Farrar, and Dave Hooker for a segment we call The 3 Reasons.
Thanks, John. Our task today is we're going to discuss maybe why we should not be panicking when it comes to this Tennessee Volunteers team yet. That'll be the key word, especially heading into tonight when they're taking on what seems to be a rising Florida Gators team. But I think one of the key reasons why we shouldn't be panicking quite yet is because Nico Imaliaba, he's still really young into his career. This is his first time being a full-time starter. He just finished his 5th game. And I still think there are a lot of bright spots, and I still think his ceiling is really high with this team.
Yeah, the talent is there for sure. I think that's where you start because, yes, it was a rough game. We hadn't seen that. He's still a young player, but he's got a lot of ability. And there's no way that all these analysts are wrong about him. They
Right.
have more of a trained eye than we do. So I think you're going to see him have big games. You're going to see him progress. And there's things to work with there for him, too. Like, you can build off of it. Like, I'd love to see them do more quarterback runs with him, design quarterback runs, and the middle of the field, something that they haven't taken advantage of the last couple of weeks. So the talent, there's no question, is there. I think you can build off of it, so there shouldn't be any panic, Dave.
I think the talent's still at a high level. Some of those analysts had Nico being a Heisman contender. They may be crazy in retrospect, but I think that Nico Iamaleava saw a lot of different looks against Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Tennessee got outfoxed offensively across the board, and what they were ready for and the motion that Arkansas did. Also showing a lot in terms of, hey, we're going to come in man and put pressure, but they would drop back and vice versa. So Nico didn't play his best game. His worst game of all, I think, is pretty apparent. But I do like the talent level. I think he has an elite arm. And I think we have to remember, we're just talking about a half dozen games that he's played. Right. And Arkansas, I think, outfoxed everybody, including Nico. But he'll play better.
Yeah, and I think his ability to play better is when his offensive line starts to play a bit more clean. You look to Arkansas, and they had 7 pre-snap penalties. A number of those were for false starts. So that has you behind the chains. You're not able to really execute the play you had in mind because now it's like a 1st and 15, a 2nd and long. So I think once that offensive line gets more comfortable, so too will Nico.
I think if they help him, there's tremendous amount of upside for this offense to get back to being explosive.
Yeah.
If the talent wasn't there and he was limited in a lot of physical areas, then you could be more worried because you're like, all right, there's only so much you can do. Okay, maybe the offensive line is better or whatever. But there is a lot of upside for him to be able to have big games and take over. So I think that's a great way to start.
Yeah, and you mentioned the explosive plays. I think the other reason why we shouldn't be panicking is because you have Dylan Sampson right next to you, one of the best running backs in the country, especially in the league. He has 12 touchdowns on the year, nearly 600 yards on the ground. So his ability to still be the spark plug for this offense. He had that 53-yard run to start the 3rd quarter and then punched in a 4-yard touchdown run. He is what this team needs, and I think he's the reason we shouldn't be panicking.
I also like the fact that Sampson called some guys out in the post-game, saying that they were lackadaisical in the bye week, saying that they were antsy and frantic, I think was the terms that he used. I thought all of that, apparently that was the case in the way they played, was very apt. And I think he's that type of leader. Going back to Nico real quick, can you really expect him to be a leader when he's this young? So no, somebody has to step up and take that role. And I think Sampson, along with Cooper Mays and other guys, have done that. I'll say this with Sampson. I think they lean on him more. Paige, like you said, maybe a little bit of that 12 personnel, which I know would bring somebody in, some other defender into the box. But when you have 2 tight ends, I think they can lean on Sampson running the football and take pressure off Nico.
Yeah, and I think similar to Nico, there's things you can build off of, whether it's formationally or with his talent. I'd love to see them throw the ball to him more out of the backfield, even if it's just as a check down. We don't do enough check downs, I don't think, in this offense.
No.
Wheel routes. Get him in space. Force teams to have to be prepared for more things with him. And to him calling out his teammates, the great thing about that is he said, I told my team this, and then he said it to the media. It wasn't something that they found out through the media. So I love that. Other guys have kind of backed that up. So yeah, there's a lot more upside with him. I would love to see another back show out, be explosive, or even Nico runs too, I think could help him out too. You can see even more.
Yeah, and I think real quickly too, the defensive line has still continued to be really stout, especially on the defensive end, but for the team as a whole, they give me a lot of confidence heading into this Florida game.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure every defensive player heard Dylan Sampson because Keenan Philly was a little surprised after the game. And I wonder with his defense as good as they are, do they at some point look at the offense and say, what in the world is going on? Because I think this is a championship type of defense, despite what happened against Arkansas. I think they were hung out to dry by time of possession. But talent-wise, back to Nico, I think this defense is very talented and very good. Maybe not elite yet, but very good to say the least.
Yeah, and I think it's too early for them to get really frustrated with the offense. I mean, it's been a couple games, and the first game was dialed down. So I think they're going to still have their back. We talked about how the defense will travel. It has the last couple of weeks. Certainly, the talent is there, especially in the front 6.
Yeah, I agree. When we come back, we'll talk about what the UT coaches can do when they're getting weak play from the line. That'll be Kevin, Ollie, and John when we come back.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville. You hear lots of offers with insane prices, unbelievable trade-in promotions, and crazy gimmicks. But aren't you tired of all that noise? Look, at Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville, our message is simple. We'll beat any dealership's price on any new Kia, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, period. If you don't buy your new Kia on Callahan Drive, you'll pay too much. Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
Safety Systems, East Tennessee's top provider of home automation, security, and life safety systems.
Home and commercial security.
Camera surveillance systems specifically designed for your property. Professional monitoring, complete with emergency and after-hours response and repair. Burglar alarms for all access points. Upgrade your home or business with a single phone call to Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in home and commercial security systems for more than 20 years.
Whether you're watching the big game or your favorite movie, Games and Things is your ticket to the best seat in the house. It's time to get rid of that old, worn-out recliner and replace it with home theater seating from Games and Things. We offer the largest selection of quality seats at the best price in East Tennessee. With an endless variety of styles, configurations, and options, you are sure to find that perfect seat. Stop by Games and Things to upgrade your seats today at the corner of Kingston Pike and Lovell Road. Online at ourgameroom.com. Games and Things, 'cause life should be fun.
From family heirlooms to sports memorabilia, protect and showcase your treasures with custom frames and shadow boxes, each with a lifetime guarantee. Express Frame in the Common Shopping Center on North Peters Road.
So many people get their insurance through an app these days, but are you getting the best deal, the coverage you need? And when you really need that coverage, who's fighting for you? All insurance is not equal. Trust Chris Smith Insurance.
3 recruits to watch for Tennessee this weekend, and after nearly a month away from Neyland Stadium, the Vols are finally back at home, so that means a chance to host some visitors, and this is one of the big visit weekends Tennessee's been pointing to all season. Next weekend will be the same, but this, an impressive list of visitors Tennessee is hosting. So just a few we'll spotlight, starting with some 2026 targets. 5-star edge rusher Zion Ely of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. Big-time player, one of the top overall prospects in the country. He was originally expected to come in for next week's game. Now change of plans. Instead of visiting Rutgers this weekend, he's going to Tennessee this weekend instead. So a big chance for the Vols to make a move there. That's a school where Tennessee has had obviously some success in the past, landing players like Dominic Bailey a few years ago, and then Idris Farouk, the freshman safety. So Tennessee with a chance to really impress a big-time player that they've been pursuing for a long time. Another similar player from another state, Tristan Keys, a 4-star wide receiver from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, top 50 prospect nationally. Another guy Tennessee's been recruiting for a long time. Getting him on campus this weekend, a big opportunity for the Vols to try to make a move there as they battle Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and a number of other major programs for him. And then one of Tennessee's current commitments expected to be back in town this weekend, Lagonza Hayward, 4-star safety out of Georgia. A lot of Tennessee commitments will be in for this one. He's worth noting because he was on the road last weekend and went back to Georgia to see the Bulldogs play host to Auburn on Saturday. So a big deal that he showed up there as a surprise visitor. A little bit of concern there, so maybe a chance for Tennessee to stabilize things this weekend with Hayward back on campus. John, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Welcome back to Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. This is a segment we call Checking the List, and usually it's a long list of things we want to discuss. I'm going to focus in on the top of the list from last week's Arkansas game, because the big problem last week was the offensive line. Pass protection wasn't there. You get Nico sacked 3 times in the first half. That's a great way to rattle a quarterback and mess him up for the rest of the game. Penalty-wise, you had a touchdown call back at Oklahoma due to an offensive line penalty. You had multiple false starts, guys illegally downfield, hands to the face. It was not a great performance from the offensive line. If you want to get specific, the offensive tackles. Ollie, paying you thousands and thousands of dollars to sit here with us each week and comment on your former teammates, your former line mates. It's tough to mask an offensive line that's struggling. Mm-hmm. What do you do with this bunch?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this bunch of offensive line, they're experienced and they've played together for a considerable amount of time. Obviously, Lancer new to the fold this year, but has now been in for about four games-ish. I think they understand that there's a problem, especially Cooper Mays over there as the leader of that offense, knows that they're not performing to where they need to be. And I think at this point, you've got to fix the scheme of which we're trying to pass block. I think you got to get probably more tight ends involved to help out the tackles, especially as you go more and more against this 3-3 structure. You're tying up your guards, having to deal with linebackers, deciding if they want to shoot the gap or not. So you got to respect it as a guard. Well, now your tackles are on an island, and as that's the weak spot of our offense right now, it's really showing a ton that they need the help. So I think if you get the tight ends a little bit more involved, maybe some more 7-6-man protections with them. But if you also you got to get those running backs kind of step up and understand this is where we're covering. You got to be able to protect us where we're not, because there's been some of the sacks that can be accredited to the backfield and not picking up where they need to be.
Yeah.
But obviously it gets highlighted a ton on the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, Deshaun Bishop got hurdled once last week.
Yeah,
Miles
to go low and cut a guy.
Yeah, and Miles Kitzelman did not have a great game last week either from a pass blocking. I mean, I get what you're saying. Run more, keep a guy in there. But they tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, they went 12 personnel against NC State. Is it to that level? Where you got 2 tight ends there some of the time there?
Well, it feels like, I mean, we ran more 7-man protections, I mean, this season than the previous 3 years combined. So I think it's just more so about the offensive line. What I see is that guys get leaky inside. All right, when you have help, you got a tight end chipping on your outside, playing with a firm inside hand, right? It's like a fence post. Like, I got a post here, slide legged. I cannot get beat to my inside. If I'm going to get beat at all, it's going to be around my outside to at least where I can funnel into my help or run this guy around. And then it seems like they're 5-0 in the protection. A lot of times that back is looking for that 3 or that 4 on the backside. Usually the guard is responsible for the 3 on the front side, and then the quarterback has the 4 weak. But just everybody working in concert. The receivers need to get open so he has somewhere to throw the football, and that's been an issue.
Well, you're also, the problem is when you're keeping a guy in to block, you're also putting one less man out there to run the route. So I mean, you had 3-man routes last week going against 5 and 6 DB sitting in zone. That's not going to open up quickly. So you got Nico having to stand back there and pat the ball while guys are closing in on him. It seems like one issue is compounding all the issues, all the other issues. You need a couple of things to get cleaned up before everything else gels, because it seems like the problem is kind of across the board at this point.
But one of the problems is and especially against Oklahoma, the safeties, the DBs, they are not scared of our receivers at all. They are sitting with their heels at 10 yards, and basically quarters coverage is basically zero coverage except for you have help. And they're running a version of quarters coverage where the DBs are reading run pass, 5-man box. They're either crashing 3 guys in if it's run to basically create an 8-man box. And if it's pass, they're reading the end man on the offensive line. If it's pass and if the receiver's route is deeper than 5 yards, then they're going to play the pass. So it's kind of like a choose your poison. The play that Dante Thornton made against Oklahoma, where they crashed in, we guessed right, hit them. We were never able to get there against Arkansas, and they're doing basically the same type of thing. So those guys on the outside have to win. They ain't been winning nearly enough, creating nearly enough separation, and making plays down the field.
There's talk that Nico is missing open men, but I'll go back to this. I'm sure there are some that he's not seeing. But I'll go back to the fact that during the ESPN broadcast, they constantly showed you, okay, if Taylon Green sees this guy, it's an Arkansas touchdown. If he sees this guy, it's an Arkansas touchdown. I don't remember them one time saying, oh, Nico missed this guy. Look at Dante Thornton running open here. Look at Brew McCoy here open. Look at now, he missed Squirrel White, deep ball, overshot it. It was a Miltonian throw.
That happens to Tom Brady. It happens to every single quarterback that's ever played. But at the end of the day, you're right. The reason why ESPN and Kirk Herbstreit weren't saying, oh, man, hey, this guy's like Tesla. There was one time he was wide open. We brought 2 corners. It was only supposed to be one of them. But the linebacker and the corner both came out. He's wide open. The reason why they didn't say it is because it didn't happen. That we don't have guys running wide open. They could create more separation for sure from the wide receiver core.
All right, very good. When we come back, the wise guys have some fun with over-unders and either-ors. Come on back on the Sports Source Saturday Kickoff.
A day on the lake is more than just time on the water. It's a memory, a story that can last a lifetime. And no one makes memories like Madisonville Marine. Terrific prices, first-class customer service, and the area's biggest selection of boats, like Hurricane deck boats. Perfecting fun on the water for more than 45 years with innovative and incredibly versatile designs. Experience freedom, laughter, and adventure on the water with Hurricane. Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
I see Marco's role in the community as somebody that people can look up to.
Marcos Garza is very thoughtful. He pays attention to the needs of the people in the community.
He's somebody that's very unselfish, somebody that's going to always be there.
Marcos Garza will work as hard as he can to get the best results for you.
In the future, no matter where I'm playing, no matter what the team I'm playing for, I'll always be on Garza's team.
The Garza Law Firm is Mama Zizi approved.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville. The Vols are off to a hot start, so we're rolling out the hottest deals of the year. You can score a 2025 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, or you can drive home a 2024 Kia Sorento for $267 a month. Are you looking to go bigger? You could ride high in style in a 2024 Kia Telluride for $379 a month. And as always, every new Kia comes with Rusty's exclusive 200,000-mile warranty. So draw up the winning play and make your way to Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
There's only one silver lining to Tennessee's loss at Arkansas last week, and that's that the committee has shown for 10 years that it cares way more about teams at their best than teams at their worst, which means, in short, they put a lot more weight into who teams beat than who they lose to. We saw in 2014 an Ohio State team that lost to 6-6 Virginia Tech, was in the playoff, and still won the whole thing. So for Tennessee, if you're still a team that's a playoff caliber team, you'll have opportunities to prove that. If they can get a split in a game against Alabama next week and a trip to Georgia next month, they're still going to be well positioned for the playoff. And those two teams, they sound like final bosses, but they've looked far short of immaculate plenty this year. Georgia almost lost to Kentucky. Alabama, you may have heard, lost to Vanderbilt. So if Tennessee splits those games, it's still well positioned to make the playoff and still might even make it to Atlanta to play for an SEC title. So I know after a loss, it's all doom and gloom, the sky is falling, all that, but this is still a team ranked in the top 8. It is a team with flaws, especially on the offensive line. But if the offense can rediscover some explosiveness, the path to the playoff is still pretty wide. Back to you, John.
Thanks, David. Welcome back to Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. Folks, if you want to make your home the envy of the neighborhood, with the place where family and friends want to all hang out, then you got to get to Games and Things. Anything from dart boards to shuffleboards, from pool tables to card tables, home theater seats to bars and bar stools. They've got it all at Games and Things. Games and Things Arena, that's where we're going now. Josh Ward, Tyler Ivins, Chuck Cavaleris, Will West for a segment we call The Wise Guys.
Thanks, John. All right, guys, John sent us 5 over-under type questions for tonight's game. I'll get us started with question number 1. UT has held Florida under 20 points twice since 2005. Will Tennessee hold Florida under 20 points tonight?
Not giving you the score prediction now, but a little hint. I have Florida right at 20 points tonight. So your question is under 20 points? I guess no, because I have Florida right at 20 points tonight.
Yes, I've got it under, and I'm going to say this over and over. It's checkered in England. It's a night game. The energy's crowd going to be there. So, yes, under 20.
Yeah, I'll take under 20 as well. I think the defense is good. I also think they'll blitz, because if I know that you can't get there with 4, then I'm assuming Tim Banks knows you can't get there with 4. That will open things up. It'll help out your secondary. Also, I don't think Florida's as good as Arkansas offensively.
Graham Mertz can be an efficient quarterback. He was last year against Tennessee. But even last week with Tennessee's defense having some issues, they got stops when they needed to. At home, I think that will help. I will say Tennessee holds Florida under 20 points tonight.
All right, gentlemen, Tennessee first half. I'm looking for 30 minutes, over under 2.5 touchdowns, Chuck Cavaliers.
I'm going to take just barely over. The hook is part of that.
It is.
But I'm going to take over the 2.5.
I'll take under. I just think this is a conservative football team. This is what you are. I don't think it was about emotions or overlooking Arkansas or a trap game. I think you're not very good on the offensive line. I don't think you have playmakers at wide receiver, especially with the injuries. And I think Nico's not as developed as we thought he was. So I'm going to take under on this. They're a conservative football team.
I think Tennessee will be better early. Can't be worse early offensively. But over under 2.5 touchdowns, I'm going to go under. I would go over 2.5 scores. Max Gilbert will help here, but I'll take under on the touchdowns. Okay.
I'll go under as well. This is a 14-10 Tennessee lead at the locker room. First quarter, fill each other out. See if you can land body blows before you go into the locker room.
I like the fact you've already watched this game.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin movies, but this is how it's going to play.
Easy on the spoilers.
I know, right?
All right, guys, 15 of the Vols' 17 punts this season have come in the last 2 games. Over under 6.5 Vol punts tonight.
I'm going to take over that. I think Josh Heupel will trust his defense when put into a situation to have to trust his defense versus his offense on a 4th down play. So I'll take the over on that.
I'm going to go under. Jackson Ross, a little more comfort at home on the bench while his offense gets some work going. I said under on the touchdowns, but over on the scores in the first half. I think the Vols will be active scoring. I'll say under 6.5 punts.
I'll stay under as well. I gave you under on the first half. I'll go just under the punts because of the hook. I think Tennessee, if I'm spoiling the game, they only punt 6 times tonight. Yeah, so I'll take the under.
I'm going to go under with a Tennessee fake. A fake punt. And that's how it's going to go under.
That's greasy.
That is as specific as you can humanly get. All right. Dylan Sampson is averaging 133.6 yards from scrimmage per game, over under 133.5 yards tonight for Dylan Sampson from scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm going to say over. He had a good game against Arkansas. Tennessee's offense didn't. Sampson did. He has big playability, and I don't think they're going to come out of the Arkansas game saying less Dylan Sampson. So he could hit that number rushing. You throw in his ability as a pass receiver, and I think they might try to get him more involved that way. I'll say over.
The weekly segment where I ask for more James Pierce sacks and more Cam Seldon, I will take more Cam Seldon. I think it's under that number for Dylan specifically. It's going to be a group effort tonight. Dylan, what you're getting out of Deshaun Bishop and Cam Seldon makes an appearance, cherry on top. Under individually, way over for a total.
Right. The key on that is yards from scrimmage, right? Let's do a little shuffle pass. Let's do a swing pass. Can they run a screen pass at some time?
Good.
But touches. You're right.
Yeah, Brew McCoy, Squirrel White's injuries. I just think you don't have playmakers right now where they're going to come from. We know Dylan Sampson, when you put the ball in his hands, is electric. So why not get him involved in the passing game as well? I'll go over on that one, Josh.
Yeah, part of the thought had to be you got an issue, get the ball to your best player.
Yes.
Their best player.
Playmakers in space.
Yes.
It's a new concept.
It's a proven track record that I think Josh Heupel will look for. All right, guys, last question, about 90 seconds to cover. Through 5 games, Florida has more passes of 10, 20, and 30 yards than Tennessee does. Who will have more passes of 20-plus yards tonight, the Vols or the Gators?
Vols. I don't trust DJ Lagway. I don't trust Graham Mertz. Check down, protect the football. Lagway likes to get dangerous. I can only see this coming into play if Florida's needing to get back into the game late. I don't believe it does. This is going to be the secondary moment where they get tested.
Well, I mean, who's going to be able to get those? You got so many receivers hurt for Tennessee. That's why I would say no on that one. So I would go under that.
I will say Florida does. I do. I will. I think that Tennessee is bend don't break a little bit defensively. But they're more likely to have a screw up in the secondary. So that's why I say it's Tennessee. I think Florida's secondary is a little more proven.
I think every week, if I predict that Chris Brazzell will have a big play, I will eventually be proven right. So I'll say Brazzell hits a big play. Mike Matthews could get more involved. He has big play ability. He's probably the most athletic, high-end potential guy among the receivers. Just hasn't played that much as a true freshman. So I'll take Tennessee. For the Vols defense to limit what Florida's able to do with big plays, got to tackle, and then Tennessee's offense to get it done and hit enough big plays. Not as many as they did in 2022, but enough against the Florida Gators tonight. So that's a look at the over and unders for tonight's game. When we come back, Kevin and Ollie will look at Tennessee's offense against the 3-3-5 defense. How can the Vols break through? That when we come back.
Whether you're watching the big game or your favorite movie, Games and Things is your ticket to the best seat in the house. It's time to get rid of that old, worn-out recliner and replace it with home theater seating from Games and Things. We offer the largest selection of quality seats at the best price in East Tennessee. With an endless variety of styles, configurations, and options, you are sure to find that perfect seat. Stop by Games and Things to upgrade your seats today at the corner of Kingston Pike and Lovell Road. Online at OurGameRoom.com. Games and Things, 'cause life should be fun.
Safety Systems, East Tennessee's top provider of home automation, security, and life safety systems.
Home automation.
Our expert technicians can turn your home into a smart home, allowing you to control and monitor everything from lighting and climate to entertainment systems, security systems, and even appliances, all from your phone or tablet. Upgrade your home with a single phone call to Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in home automation for more than 20 years.
Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he became an agent to make sure someone is fighting for you. Shop insurance now. See how Chris can give you peace of mind and save you some money. All insurance is not equal. Trust Chris Smith Insurance.
From works of art to family photos, enhance the beauty and protect your memories with custom frames, museum-quality glass, and guaranteed craftsmanship. Express Frame in the Common Shopping Center on North Peters Road.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Key of Knoxville. You hear lots of offers with insane prices, unbelievable trade-in promotions, and crazy gimmicks. But aren't you tired of all that noise? Look, at Rusty Wallace Key of Knoxville, our message is simple. We'll beat any dealership's price on any new Kia, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, period. If you don't buy your new Kia on Callahan Drive, you'll pay too much. Rusty Wallace Key of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
All right, Captain's Corner this week, I was right about Arkansas. Just kind of had a feeling that something would happen. But if you look at this conference, that's how it is. There's only one team left that's undefeated, and that's Texas. So everything is still wide open for you, but you can't allow multiple losses be strung together. In '92, we lost to Arkansas, then Alabama and South Carolina, and it ended up costing John Majors his job. So what do you do as a captain here? You regroup and you refocus and you play the underdog card. Yep, that's right. Everybody wants to see you lose. Everybody wants to see you fall as far as you possibly can. Arkansas just ripped the goalpost down on you. You haven't beat Florida in multiple years. Everybody wants to see you lose. You know you're the favorite for points, but take a mentality of it's us against everybody else and we're the underdogs. That's the way you get the momentum back, because if you don't, you'll start stringing losses together and it will really cost you all the opportunities that are still out there. Regroup, get after it. You owe Florida a lot. John, back to you.
Thanks to Vol Captain Mike Stoll right there. We are back at Rusty Wallace Key on Callahan Drive. This segment of our program is called What's the Game Plan, where we talk about what is the plan for Tennessee this week, and that's going to be beating the 3-3-5 that you keep seeing thrown at you. Brought to you by our friends at the Garza Law Firm, and that should be part of your plan. If you ever find yourself in a legal jam, legal trouble, you need advice, you need someone to help calm you down, because that's got to be a nerve-wracking event. Garza Law Firm, located right here in East Tennessee, have been for years. They'll take great care of you. Check around, you'll find what a great reputation they have. The Garza Law Firm, garzalaw.com. All right. Now, if only somebody could calm Tennessee down when they see a 3-3-5 or a 3-2-6, which they continue. Missouri started it last year. You've seen Oklahoma do it, then Arkansas did it. Florida runs some of that anyway, so you know you're going to get that tonight. Ollie, we'll start with this, just as quickly as you can break it down. Why is the 3-3-5 difficult for Tennessee?
I mean, it puts a lot more pressure, especially up front on the offensive line, where the problems are. I talked about it a little bit in the last segment. When you see it, you have your guards now tied up by 2 linebackers that could come or not come, but they got to truly read them, because if they don't, as soon as they turn their head, that backer's going to hit it. So you're putting our tackles on islands and causing a lot of strain for them, and then it's just allowing easy pressures. And as an offensive line over there, not to continue on the last segment, but you can't get beat inside, and that's what they're doing, and it's causing so many problems. And then when you have so many people in coverage and you're only being able to get 3 or 4 receivers out to run a route, they're going to get covered up, and there's not going to be a lot of options. Add to the fact that Nico can't have the time to go through his reads, it compounds all of these issues into the big, large issue that we can't move the football against this defense.
So then the question is, how do you counteract it, Kevin? I mean, are you looking at it, do you run Nico more? I thought his legs would be part of the offense this year, and they really haven't been. Do you use him more? Screens, quick passes to the outside. What's your answer for a 3-3-5?
Yeah, so I think the number one answer is Nico and his legs. Just you should have at least 8 to 10 QB design runs every single game where you're putting the ball in his hands, whether it's quarterback counter, whether it's quarterback power, whether it's zone read. It's just another element for these guys they have to deal with. But one thing that I think that will really help, if you look at the NFL game, look at some of the best offensive minds, the Kyle Shanahans with the 49ers, the Sean McVays with the Rams, the Matt LaFleur's with the Packers, and so on and so forth. You know, putting in the pistol formation, so now you can get to all the different runs from the home position, whether it's power, whether it's counter, whether we're running inside what we call crunch, which hits in the which is basically like a halfback dive, or stretch, and then off it. Now we run the ball, play action, right? So now fake it ollie, I'm rolling out to my right, and I have the wide receiver on the deep over route. I got either the tight end or the slot receiver on the drag. I got the wide receiver on play side on the deep comeback. So now where they're trying to double things, now it's a high-low read. I'm sucking the linebackers up, and then I'm throwing it over their heads. And the way that we've been running the football, it's something that I think that would be really effective to combat these opponents. And now, instead of making everybody defend you deep, you're making offenses vertically and horizontally. They got to cover you 53 1/3 the width of the field.
Okay, so the pistol would be your number one antidote. I don't see a lot of pistol out of this offense. Is there a pistol in this playbook?
No, there is not a pistol package. Yeah,
we can put it in.
Yeah, how quick is it to put one in? As a matter of fact, you were talking earlier.
Yeah.
You don't have any package for under center at all.
No,
Everybody's like, well, they need to go under center here. That's not in the playbook.
Yeah, I mean, now you got your goal line, obviously,
Right.
but I mean
That you never see, really,
Yeah,
but-
I mean, if you're running in the middle of the field, you will not see us go under center. No.
All right, so no pistol. How hard would it be? Heupel, is this the kind of guy who's going to figure something out like that and say, I'm going to implement something new? Or is it, no, this is what we do? Because we started the season saying, I thought he was a do-what-you-do coach. Then I gave him credit. He goes 12 personnel against NC State. He knows to back it down, trust his defense against Oklahoma. It's like, okay, he's more than just a do-what-you-do guy. This would be another test of the do-what-you-do guy. Is he someone who would go out and say, you know what, we need to start drawing up plays, pistol, or some other thing? Or is it just, well, here's our playbook. This is all we got. Your take, guys.
You know, to me, like the 12 personnel package kind of came about based upon the issues they had with Joe Milton a year ago.
Right.
You guys started running more 7-man protection. You correct me if I'm wrong. Against Texas A&M because they were a good front.
Yeah.
And then it worked. You know, you guys kept running against Alabama, Kentucky, and then so on and so forth. So then they brought it back and had to have a new look for it this year. To me, you can implement it. It just, are they committed to it? Last year, there was a need, but they didn't get to it quick. We'll see what happens this year.
No, I mean, do you see them going outside of their playbook and putting something in the playbook?
Yeah, I mean,
is that this kind of coaching staff?
I think they obviously want to hold true to what they do. This is what we have. But they're not afraid to steal plays, run different stuff that they're not used to, but if they see the success against other teams, they're not going to shy away from the numbers. They understand and break down the statistics of play calling and stuff like that. So if that proves that it would be beneficial for them to add, I would see Josh Heupel being able to do something like that.
Okay, got about 20 seconds. So we're talking about running Nico a little bit more. Pistol, if they can put it in there. Anything else they could do tonight that we may see? Anything you would expect to see against this 3-3-5?
I mean, I want to be able to see them actually make some true reads with Nico and get the ball out, take what they are given, not take the big play.
I'll say this too. If they can get in tempo, that seems to help because the 3-3-5 at Missouri, at Oklahoma, at Arkansas, crowd noise, they're not doing the tempo as much. If they can get in tempo, that might help a little bit as well. Yeah. All right. When we come back, we're going to have 15 game predictions for you. We'll tell you what's going to happen tonight over at Neyland Stadium. Will anybody pick the Gators this week? Come on back. We'll see.
For 4 generations, A.G. Hines Company has been a pillar of the Knoxville community. And since Albert Hines Sr. opened our doors back in 1920, we've been supplying do-it-yourselfers with revolutionary products and tools. With Nudura insulated concrete forms, your project will be both rock solid and more energy efficient than steel or wood structures. Cutting-edge materials and tools at affordable prices. That's what we've provided for more than a century at A.G. Hines Company.
A day on the lake is more than just time on the water. It's a memory, a story that can last a lifetime. And no one makes memories like Madisonville Marine. Terrific prices, first-class customer service, and the area's biggest selection of boats like Skeeter Bass Boats. For more than 75 years, generations of anglers have trusted Skeeter, the best engineered boats on the water. Ensure a smooth, dry, safe trip to your favorite fishing hole. Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville. The Vols are off to a hot start, so we're rolling out the hottest deals of the year. You can score a 2025 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, or you can drive home a 2024 Kia Sorento for $267 a month. Are you looking to go bigger? You could ride high in style in a 2024 Kia Telluride for $379 a month. And as always, every new Kia comes with Rusty's exclusive 200,000-mile warranty. So draw up the winning play and make your way to Rusty Wallace Kia of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
From family heirlooms to sports memorabilia, protect and showcase your treasures with custom frames and shadow boxes, each with a lifetime guarantee. Express Frame in the Common Shopping Center on North Peters Road.
Every Sunday morning, The Sports Source brings you 90 minutes of honest, intelligent Vols coverage. More analysts, more topics, more fun. The Sports Source, Sundays at 11 on WATE TV6 and WATE.com.
Welcome back to Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. This is our prediction segment. It's brought to you by Chris Smith Insurance. Folks, if you're looking at changing your car insurance, for example, call right now. You don't have to wait until your insurance policy lapses. You can call. If Chris can save you money, you can make the switch right there. You get a refund from your old company, and you save money with Chris Smith Insurance. This segment, we got 15 predictions for you. We call it Who, How, and Why. Who wins, by how much, and why. That's next. Let's go.
All right, guys, prediction time for Tennessee and Florida tonight. I will take Tennessee 31-17 against the Gators. I think the Vols have a good game offensively. They do more than enough defensively, win by a couple of scores.
He did it to you again.
He did it again. 31-20. That was my prediction last week. I'll just copy, hit a little paste. I like the Vols in the fourth quarter to be able to milk what they need to score-wise and clock-wise.
I'm going to go on a limb here, 34-13 Tennessee. And maybe you score other than offense. How about that? Let's see that happen for once this season.
Yeah, I'm going to go 23-13. I think this is a defensive team. I think Josh Heupel plays conservative football now, not because he wants to, but because he has to. Playing to his strengths, and that defense is a bigger strength in the offense.
I'll take Tennessee in this game. Despite what we saw against Arkansas, I still think this team will be able to get up for this game against Florida. They're back home in the first time in nearly a month, which this team is very excited for. So I'll take Tennessee 27-24. I think the offense will start to click in this game, but I'll keep it close because they are 13-14 against the Gators at home.
Yeah, look, the fact that Florida seems to always rise up and play better than they have been playing is a factor. So I would go under in the points. 27-16. I like Tennessee to win this game. They should be more efficient, but maybe not as many opportunities. Force some field goals on defense, and it'll be a little bit closer than what people are comfortable with.
Yeah, probably a little bit closer. I think it's going to have kind of that feel of maybe the Oklahoma game, where really it's not in question, but it kind of is because it's 10 points. So I'll go 30-16. I think that Tennessee's defense will realize they've got to win this football game, and I think either Nico makes some pretty elite plays, or Josh Heupel realizes that he's not ready for that, kind of hunkers down with the running game. So either way, I got 30-16 Tennessee with a win.
If you would have asked me before the Arkansas game, I would have said Tennessee rolls, but there are plenty of question marks heading to the Vols game against Florida. I still think Tennessee wins it 31-21. I do think Dylan Sampson has a huge game against a Florida run defense that is second worst in the SEC.
I'll take Tennessee 31-17. I'm admittedly a bit less confident in this prediction after the last couple of weeks, but I think Tennessee is just the better team here. Florida's played a little bit better lately, but they still have some issues on both sides of the ball. A couple talented quarterbacks that could pose some problems, but I think the Vols win in front of the home crowd and take care of business in this one.
I've got Tennessee 24-20 over Florida. I think Dylan Sampson and Tennessee's run game will be the difference on offense. I think Tennessee's run defense will be the difference as well. So Tennessee gets the win by 4.
Give me Tennessee 37, Florida 20. The Gators don't have the men up front on the defensive line that Oklahoma and Arkansas had to take advantage of Tennessee's weakness along the offensive line, and it'll show. This offense looks a lot more like the offense that we thought it was going to be coming into the season. The Vols get back on track.
All right, score prediction this week for Tennessee and Florida. Vols much better at home. I think they get the win 28-17.
All right, guys, we're back at Rusty Wallace Kia on Callahan Drive. Time for our prediction. I'll start, and I got Tennessee winning 27-23. Probably too many points for Florida there, but I just think Tennessee's going to be in for a lot of fist fights until I see that offense, that pass game in particular, can get uncorked. I'm going to continue to pick close, tight games. Again, maybe I'm giving Florida too many points here, but 27-23, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Until our perimeter players start showing up and making plays, 23-20, Vols to win, Gators to cover.
Yeah. No,
What do you got, Ollie?
I'm taking 21-17. I'm taking the Vols, but obviously I think that there's some offensive issues that need to be figured out in this game to see if we can score points at the rate that we used to.
All right, one thing that was surprising last week, Brew McCoy had his hand was in a cast. You had Squirrel White leave the game in a sling. And yet when the injury reports came out this week, those two were probable, and it was Dante Thornton that was questionable. We talked about it earlier. You need more from this wide receiver core. Not a great sign that they're banged up coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on the
you
receivers?
take this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you always dance on the receivers' heads.
I mean, they haven't been great to begin with. Mike Matthews, is he going to get a shot? Chaz Nimrod, we heard about him a lot of the offseason. We heard the whole time, hey, we're going to play more guys. And, yeah, we've played 6 receivers, but it's mostly been on special teams. We've not seen them a whole lot in games.
We've also heard coming into the season, this is the deepest, best receiving room Tennessee's had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying that.
Well,
I'm sorry. They look a lot like the guys we had last year.
Yeah,
they are the same guys. They don't look like they've taken a step forward.
I wasn't buying it, and I've been hoping I was wrong the entire time. And, these guys have yet to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, every week you hear Kelsey Pope saying the best is yet to come. I think we're ready for the best.
Yeah, let's bring it out. Bring it out. We'll see if they bring it out tonight at Checker Neyland. The lights will be on. Everybody will be excited. Whether the Vols get the win or the loss, we'll be there tomorrow morning right here on Channel 6 at 11 a.m. to break it all down on the Sports Source. We thank you for joining us every week. We thank our sponsors for bringing you this show every week. We thank Rusty Wallace Kia of Callahan Drive for having us down here. And I think these two and everybody else who's been on our show. 15, 16 people a week, that's nuts. I thank them all. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m., right back here.